The 2026 Care-a-Thon presented by Duval Asphalt continues on this magical Friday in Jacksonville. It doesn't matter what the weather is because everything is coming up roses for the kids in our community when we know that a phone call to 855-916-9500 is some generous person on the other end of the line ready to step up and tell local families that they have an ally. They have someone who's walking alongside with them in their cancer journey in our community. No amount is too small. We say that every year during Care-a-Thon, now into our 12th year, and it's true. While big numbers are great, and if someone wants to drop a $50,000 donation right now at 855-916-9500, we'd love it. But a $5 donation means the world to families. And we're joined now by Jacksonville Mayor Donna Deegan, herself a cancer survivor and a supporter of the Care-a-Thon and Child Cancer Fund through the years as well. And every year we appreciate and value your support and your commitment, stepping up for these families and really showing the families that Jacksonville cares.
Absolutely, and it does. And I think this is, Rich, I got to tell you, it's so nice to see how excited you get every year when we come close to this Care-a-Thon. I can tell how much it means to you personally. I know you've been doing it for a long time, but this is how people are. They rally around our families and our children, and this is one of those missions that I don't know if it gets more important, right? I mean, than caring for our kids. It breaks everybody's heart to ever see a child suffer with cancer. As somebody who had cancer as an adult, I remember always thinking the thing that would be worse than this is if I had to deal with a child that had cancer, and I think that Jacksonville shows up over and over again for these kids, and they certainly should.
We appreciate your proclamation that today is Care-a-Thon Day in Jacksonville.
Care-a-Thon Day.
We love that. It does mean the world to us. And to Carla Montgomery with the Child Cancer Fund. Again, the recognition, educating the community that there are resources out there that when the rug is pulled out from underneath the family and they get a cancer diagnosis, that there are people there to pick them up along the way.
Yeah, I think it's the only way that you really can make it through. And I have a little, I don't know if you're aware of this.
Okay.
But obviously when kids are going through chemo and radiation, which he had both, they don't want to eat, and metal has something to do with that. And so someone, I don't know if she still works with you or used to, but Celeste, she's the one that told me, she goes, hey, Donna said, do plastic utensils and he'll eat, and it did help. And now I tell everyone. But yeah, it was very helpful. But
good. I'm glad to see you. When you're going through chemo, you have this horrible metallic taste in your mouth, and everything tastes like metal. And so the very last thing you ever want is anything close to your mouth that tastes like metal, resembles what in your mind. So yeah, paper or plastic, anything that doesn't remind you of metal is better. But isn't that wild?
Yeah, and that was a great tip. And again, I've shared it.
Yes,
I've paid it forward. But yeah, this community is amazing. How much they care and support our families. And I always say this, the Child Cancer Fund is just the medium. We're just the middleman that makes everything come together. But the support of the community really helps these families, and they're so appreciative. I mean, they've got to get to treatment, so they need gas money. They need to put food on the table because one parent's had to miss work. They're missing school, so they need tutoring services, and that costs money. And so all of these things, and there's a plethora of other things that we do, like the retreat weekend, for example, where they can get away from the rigors of treatment and have a weekend where the family can be together. For us, it was the only vacation that we had that year because we used to always go to a lake house, and he couldn't get in lake water, and you don't think about those kinds of things.
Right.
But so we were like, we can't take him down there and then tell him he can't get in the water. So we, the retreat weekend was our vacation weekend, and so. Yeah, these families they're so grateful, and they're so much in need of this support, whether it's financial and also just the rallying around and part of this family, and knowing that people out there truly care and step in to help out.
I'm constantly saying, you hear me say this all the time, Rich, so you probably get tired of hearing me say it, but it's been my mantra for years and years. That we have to do our best to choose love over fear, right? Love expands, fear divides, and it's so important to be very intentional about that. And when you're going through something like that as a family, it's so easy to fall into a fearful place. And to have that love around you, that support, that financial assistance, but also just that, hey, you have this support system around you. We love you. We're here. I cannot quantify how important that is for families, because if you can take that outlook into what is an extraordinarily difficult time, I truly believe that it makes life so much easier, and I think also gives you a frame to go forward with for yourself and your children as you continue to move through life.
Yeah, and we say that these families don't walk alone. We provide like a support system for the families to get out on a monthly basis. But I think it's you're invited into a family you don't really want to be a part of.
Yeah.
And then once you're in, you have this rally of support. And I think the Care-a-Thon itself has really been a catalyst and making the families know how much they're supported, by the community as a whole. And I think that goes a long way. I mean, kids do so much better than adults do because they're just interested in, the next toy and the next game and the next movie.
They
and
live
whatever.
in the present.
They live in the present. And so I think that it goes a long way for their recovery. But, there's also the parents that are struggling like I did. And, it's having that support system and knowing that you're not going the road alone that really gets you through it all.
You can help a family now and support them by calling 855-916-9500. A donation of any amount will go a long way to helping the next family or someone maybe who's in a crisis situation now where one of the spouses has to give up work to throw all of their weight and support behind that child. Paul Davis Restoration stepping up with our family spotlight, and one of the OG Care-a-Thon kids, although he's not a kid anymore, he's got facial hair and he's going off to college.
He's
Riley
very
Rupert
tall.
Richendaler, isn't he? Gosh, he used to wear a bow tie and was like down to my waist back in the day. But the thing I love about Riley not only is his personality, but seeing him grow and thrive even through a brain cancer diagnosis and everything that you had to go through. What did the Child Cancer Fund mean to you throughout that?
Well, like Carla said, a lot of different services. The fuel was a big thing. It's a lot. You're going to a doctor's office 5-6 times a week. You're in and out of a hospital. You're having to get food out because you're not at home. And things like that. That's a major financial toll on a family, especially when you've got a parent that's got to take all this time off of work to be there with their child. Things like Boggy Creek and those retreats, vacations where these kids that are going through treatment can be kids. They don't have to worry about, can I go swim in this pool? Is it clean? Is the chlorine kept to a certain standard because their immune systems are weak? Well, what happens if I get sick? There's an on-site hospital with doctors and nurses. They can do infusions right there. They don't have to worry about dietary issues. The kitchen takes care of that. So many of these little nuanced things that a family has to think about that's going through treatment are already taken care of when they go to places like Boggy Creek and these other things that are sponsored by Child Cancer Fund.
Riley, how important is it to you to use your voice to make sure that other families know that this is available and to encourage other people to get involved here? You seem like you've done exceedingly well.
Well, I appreciate it, and it's huge because it means that the next family that receives that horrible diagnosis is going to have the same support that I did when I went through my treatment. So to have that it makes all the difference in the world.
How many years cancer-free for you?
Now 7 years.
That's an amen right there. Fantastic.
But you still have the tumor in your brain.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's inoperable. So it's in a position where the success rate for removal is like 0.2%.
So then do you have to go in annually, semi-annually? What does that look like?
So after my last MRI, which came back good and clear, no growth. Now it's just monitor for symptoms of growth and then so no more further MRIs.
Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So a little bit of freedom for you
Yes.
that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. So how old a gentleman are you now?
I'm now 18.
18 years old.
You almost said 17. Did
I
you hear
did.
that? You almost slipped.
I love it. No, it's great.
And a Wolfson grad, too.
Oh, Very good. What's the plans for the future?
Starting in September, I'll start at Full Sail University in their live event production program. So doing audio and lighting for concerts and anywhere else that needs that kind of work.
And perhaps future host of Care-a-Thon, because
Maybe.
I could use the break.
Listen,
honestly.
he's good. I got to say,
Right.
he's really good. How has this experience for you and what you were able to experience through the Child Cancer Fund, how has that framed how you view your life and your future?
I think it's definitely changed it. And, a thing that I think about is like, obviously cancer has its negatives, but it's also taught me a lot about networking, and it's taught me a lot about how that one voice can be advocacy for a large amount of change. And even just, not major interactions like on a radio station, but small interactions with people day to day and spreading a message can change the future for somebody else.
But it makes you appreciate every day too, doesn't it?
It does, definitely does.
855-916-9500 if you want to support a family that is in need today or perhaps tomorrow. Riley, give me, I know you haven't memorized it yet, so I had to write it down for you, but give that number one more time.
The number is 855-916-9500. That's 855-916-9500.
You could also text the word CMG for Cox Media Group to the number 707070. And I say that because all of our 8 radio stations in Jacksonville embrace Care-a-Thon, embrace the Child Cancer Fund. Not every organization has the opportunity to have an entire media group stand behind it once a year. And that's what our cluster of radio stations and TV stations at Action News Jax do. And I think that, Mayor, the reason why is because we see that this is as direct as it gets. When you make that $100 or $1,000 donation, that's going to go to help a family in need maybe tomorrow.
Yep.
Because Carla may get a cell phone call from someone late tonight and they need a gas card to get to clinic tomorrow. It's about as direct as it gets.
Yeah, and it's a huge gift that you can give to your community. So I would just say to everybody in Jacksonville, this is a wonderful opportunity to link arms and to help your fellow residents. And this is what we do best. I don't care how many times I do this or talk to so many people who are involved in help of this nature. This community is incredibly loving and supportive. And I believe they're going to come together and really make this your best year ever.
Well, make the phone ring. What's the number? Put the appeal out.
855-916-9500. Make that phone ring, folks.
Say
Let's
it slower
go.
for those who are from Georgia.
Okay, here we go. 855-916-9500. For our folks in Georgia, we will take your money too.
Yeah, we will. Clark Howard taught me that years ago. I was going to say for our Florida State grads, but I'm looking at 2 of them right here.
Oh man!
Don't
you know what
dare.
Melissa? You know what Melissa Ross told me years ago? She said because on television we talk fast, and it's almost it's just second nature to talk fast. And she said when she got into PR, she was told, "Speak like you're talking to a man."
I like that better.
But I think that's more than that. I don't think that's meant to be a derogatory as much as it's go slower and a little more
Be clearer.
Yes.
So you're
Yeah.
clear.
And as the mayor said, something that I've heard.
I love that he's moving off that. He's like,
switching gears very fast. Thank you so much.
Something that I heard throughout my entire journey was it takes a village. And
Yes.
Jacksonville is that community. And although it's the largest city landmass in the continental United States, it is a village, and it truly is. And it gets around good organizations where people need help and the community can thrive. And that's, I think, what makes Jacksonville so special.
Agree, 100%. I can't say it better than that.
and I know we get hit up with a lot of appeals for this, whether it's mailers or an email or a text message and things like that. And it's not to say that those aren't worthwhile organizations, but if our station, if we are going to get behind this for 12 years and try to raise as much money as we have through those years, I hope you believe that this is something that is doing good today, good tomorrow, and continuing to do great in the community. And sadly, unfortunately, the need is still there because we're still getting that cancer diagnosis. Now, we got great care in the community. We are blessed to have from the Mayo Clinic to all of the St. Vincent's facilities, Wolfson and Nemours. And I don't know if you were fully treated here as well, but so many people had to leave Jacksonville before.
Well, you don't need to leave Jacksonville.
Right.
It's a great place to be treated, but you have to be able to survive through all that. And I think organizations like Child Cancer Fund are here to make it to make it as easy as possible for families to access all those things while being able to travel to their appointments and being able to afford things they need. Just anything that you can take a little bit of that burden off the shoulders of families while they're here getting that world-class care is just so important.
Carla, it means the world to families. And you know, again, you're getting hit with a lot of solicitations to give $500 and $1,000 increments. $5 can mean so much.
Yeah, I know we always go back to the story and that you always make me cry over. But you know, our child life specialist is one of the positions that we fund at Nemours Children's Health. And that's a, you know, critical position on the healthcare team. And so much so that over 32 years ago, families came together and started the Child Cancer Fund. And Miss Jolly was the child life specialist when my son was going through his treatment, and I affectionately referred to her as a rodeo clown because it's distractions. You know, you're trying to distract them from that needle stick and all the horrible things they do to these kids. But there was a sticker book that she bought for him, and she wrote his name on him at the top. And so whenever we would come in and they had to access his port, she'd get out this sticker book and come to his room, and they would, she would try to distract him, but Graham he had to see the needle go in. He's weird that way, but he really wanted to see everything, but she would try to distract him, and she had this little sticker book for him, and I kept that sticker book, and it's just I don't know, it's just a memento to me. It was something so small. I'm sure it cost her $5, but it meant the world to me because when your child's going through those things, and there we go again.
Yeah, I get it.
They to see a smile on their face and to see them and enjoy their time there. I know that sounds crazy, but Dr. Gauger, who used to be on our board, she's retired now. We'd go to Camp Boggy Creek for the weekend, and the kids come off the bus, and she doesn't recognize them. And she told me, she said, he's not smiling when I walk in the room because I do horrible things to this kid. But this kid comes up and he's jumping around and smiling and having a great time. And it takes her a second to realize who the patient is, and that speaks volumes.
Mm-hmm.
Really, that says a lot about what that weekend does. And so it means so much to our families, and so that's why the Child Cancer Fund, makes sure that we are there to make sure they don't have to pay to go, and that we have that retreat weekend every fall for them. So
$5 can change someone's outlook completely, but it takes you calling 855-916-9500. Again, 855-916-9500. Mayor Deegan, I appreciate the proclamation, the support, the encouragement that you give us every year. Final message to Jacksonville, and we'll have you repeat the number at the end of that.
Do what you do, Jacksonville. You're the best at this. Come together for these families. Give a call at 855-916-9500, and let's make sure these families and these kids know that Jacksonville loves them.
We appreciate your support as the 2026 Care-a-Thon presented by Duval Asphalt continues on 104.5 WOKV.